Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our brand new episode of the Business Queens. Today, we have on our show Miss Gunjan Pai, who's the founder of Kopilove. So, they give copywriting solutions to different organizations, MNCs. So, Gunjan, welcome to today's show.
Thank you so much, Ishleen. Good morning, and thank you for having me. It's such a beautiful opportunity. I look forward to interacting with you.
That's my pleasure, Gunjan. So, Gunjan, tell us something about your organization. How did this idea come to your mind?
Okay. So the roots of my organization lie in my own experience, my own actually very beautiful experience as a freelancer and an independent consultant before. Okay. So I'll quickly rewind for a brief bit to 21 years ago when I started my career as an advertising copywriter with agencies like Kopilove and Low. To start with. After that, about 7 years of doing that, I wanted to, start freelancing, started, go independent, be an independent consultant. And that experience was very rewarding for me because, I met some amazingly creative people. I met some great agencies and studios, and it was a very rich creative environment for me. Right. And however, during that time, I also felt that I was working with design agencies and 360-degree agencies. Therefore, then, the desire to start something on my own came by because what happened is many times as a copywriter, as the ideator, as the idea generator, you start the idea, but then the design takes over, and then you feel that, okay, if I am the originator of the idea, somewhere it would be great to be at the project till the end of it and lead the project and really keep the idea eye on, consistently on the project. And that's where I really, that was a motivational factor where I felt that, it would be great to be, take charge of everything from the start to the end and really, direct a project in the way we thought of it as a writer. So that's how the, origin of
Okay.
Kopilove is there.
That's really nice. But when I went through your profile and I saw boutique copywriting, so it was something that
Yeah.
really, it was quite catchy and I heard it for the
Yes.
very first time. So what do you
Yes.
mean by boutique copywriting?
Yes, definitely. So we are two reasons I call it boutique. Firstly, we've always been a remote organization, much before COVID. I work from my home, my space, my studio. I have 10 other team members who all work from their homes or their comfortable spaces
Hmm.
across the nation, not only in Mumbai, but different locations as well. So that whole comfort. So on our website, you'll find a line that, we jump out of our comfort zones in our mind because our body is in their comfort zones,
Right.
right? So that was one reason we called it boutique. And secondly, because we started off as a very intimate studio with very few people,
Hmm.
and we've always been a lean team. And I feel that tomorrow, even when we expand and whatever number of people we may have, our mindset and our approach to a project will always be very intimate, very personal. And that's why the word boutique and the word studio both kind of are something that we use to describe Kopilove.
Yeah, and this is something extremely different that, there are a lot of people who are doing copywriting in this time.
Yeah.
But as you have been in this space for almost more than 20 years, so tell us, how has this landscape changed in these years, like in the past 20 years?
Completely. So when I had started with digital, okay, 20 years back when it was very like really a baby,
Hmm.
right? And you would just about very clunkily go about the copy and acha vaise,
Hmm.
that way. And at that time still, there was a huge level of importance or a huge level of you know, emphasis given on the main, what we used to call as a mainstream media, which is your
Hmm.
print ads and your brochures and your leaflets, your actual physical interaction
Right.
material. And people also had the time to read more copy. So there was an engagement around writing long, laborious copy and, putting it together like that. But anyways, the whole social media revolution was coming in. Plus, COVID was a major watershed moment where everything changed, right from the way people use content to consume content. And now, like, like I'm learning from the clients who tell us that nobody will read this, nobody will
Hmm.
read this. And the whole challenge for us has now become from more words to less words. And how can we really capture the essence of that and,
Hmm.
say so much more and so much lesser, which is actually double the effort and triple the effort. So that's the most important change. The way people consume, the media on which it is consumed, the amount of time, the amount of attention span people have, how whole pressure of 5 seconds made which should hook. It wasn't like that before. There was more emphasis on the beauty, on the flair of the lines, and now it's just hook and go. And it's a very different culture, and you have to really adapt to it today.
Right, right. So, when it comes to being something which is very, very, and as in today's era, there are a lot of people who are doing copywriting at the same time. So, how do you differentiate from them? One thing. Second thing, I would really like to know about your team. Like, what kind of people are there in your team? How do you go about it? Like, because you said most of, like, all of you are working from work from home. So, somehow it gives us more privilege in handling our families well, especially being women.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
so shed some light on that.
Yes. So the first one, when you're saying about how we differentiate, okay. So there is one differentiation that we have already, and I'll talk about it. And secondly, this is also a thought that is constantly ongoing in my head, that how do we continue to differentiate and continue to stay relevant? So I believe the answer to it will always be very dynamic. Nevertheless, I will, the first and the starting differentiation point for us comes from my and a lot of my team members' background in advertising itself. The very classic truths of how a brand is built, right? And how the whole strategic piece. So for us, it's never a brief comes and we put pen to paper. It never happens like that. We'll always take a step back. We'll always look at the strategy. Now, a lot of brands that have been existing for a while, especially the big brands, or at least the owners of those brands who have seen this, they have an understanding of how this works. But many times these a lot of new entrepreneurs do not even know this. They are just looking for quick content solutions, right? And the one word that we don't like to associate with ourselves is very, very quick TAT, right? Because it takes away from the from the brand truth, or at least initially. Of course, once we are established and once we know the brand well and there is a mutual chemistry, a quick TAT is is very, very possible and good. But we always emphasize on bringing a lot of the the client or the truth of the brand back to its origin, its purpose, its promise. What is it really saying, and what should then the content or the copy be aligned to? So that is extremely important, and we continue to do that. We continue to educate a lot of our clients to come back to those basics, and fortunately they all open up, because those are undeniable truths. Those are the truths on which the world's best brands are built on, and that is also the secret to their longevity, right? So they see that and they appreciate that, and they always cooperate with that and help us write better for them, right?
That's true.
Yes. Now, secondly, about the team, yes, the team is very, very dear to me also, because many of them have been with me for a very, very long time, sometimes spanning like decades, right? Almost as long as I've been working, right? In various relationships, sometimes as mentor mentee, or sometimes even as friends. So I've had friends also who have like converted and joined me and stuff like that. So definitely for so a lot of us are mothers, which, and hence this model really works for them, and it never interferes in either way. Neither does it interfere a lot in our work, never in our work for that matter. Sometimes it may still interfere with the children, it may be still difficult to manage, but it really helps us keep our passion up and keep our commitment up to our work, while not having to compromise by sending the child somewhere, doing something else. So that's first. Some other examples include, there are a couple of team members who are animal rescuers also, who, during the weekends, for example, and this gives them the complete opportunity to be here, work, and yet follow their passions whenever they can, right? There are a couple of other people who, so there were members who used to be in Mumbai but choose to go back to their parents because they are old and ailing and like to be with them, right? And it's only an opportunity like this that can give them an equal level field, with people across the country, and give them an opportunity to work on the best brands while maintaining their personal responsibilities and personal priorities as well. So definitely that's that's something that runs as a consistent fabric across our team. There are also single people who who like to juggle their personal hobbies and interests, but also keep up with the work. right? So yeah, so the weekdays are taken care of by work, and weekends, mostly pursuing their passions and other responsibilities. So yes, definitely this kind of a platform gives them the complete flexibility, right? And we also don't have strict check-in, check-out timings, right?
Okay.
People can take a little an hour off if they have to quickly go for their kid and come back. They can take a half day off in case there is something, provided, of course, now this again comes from a very, innate sense of responsibility. For example, when they take this time off, it doesn't mean that the work goes, is not addressed. The fact that they come back and they complete the work, they take it on themselves, that's a very natural responsibility that comes through. So I guess it all kind of interweaves well.
Absolutely. And being a woman myself, being a women entrepreneur myself, and working with women across all around the country, this is something that really works for people because, being a woman, somehow, whatever we say, there is gender equality, whatever, but still the primary responsibility of family falls upon us. So
Yes.
that is why I've seen so many women entrepreneurs, so many women, I would say, leaving their jobs,
Yes.
starting their own enterprises so that they have the flexibility. And if you are giving
Yes.
such kind of flexibility to your own workforce, there is more responsibility that they exhibit. At the same time, the retention is more. They stay with
Oh,
you
very
for
much.
longer times.
Very much. Yes, absolutely. That is one thing, touch wood, that I am very secure and confident. I really take care of my team in
Hmm.
all senses of the word, whether it is, like we even have discussions on their health goals, something that does not directly impact work, but their overall personality, their overall priorities.
Hmm.
It's always, it's as important to each other as the work priorities. So
Right,
always.
right. So, Gunjan, as we have a lot of women entrepreneurs who are our audience, and most of them have their SMEs and MSMEs. So, what do you say? Like, how important is branding for small and medium enterprises in this digital era?
Yes. So as I shared earlier also, a lot of our clients comprise these SMEs and MSMEs who have, who are just about launching or have launched and have had seen some success
Hmm.
in whatever they are doing, right? But there are two things that I always like to do. First of all is to, as I said, pull them back to the brand basics. Because if we go down and we see all of these old brands that have really been there for a long time,
Hmm.
whether you call it an Amazon, whether you call it a Nike, or let's even come down to India, any successful Indian brand also, they have only become unique because they have been able to have a unique positioning in the market.
Right.
And that positioning will not come till the time the brand gives, enough time, space, and bandwidth to discussing and discovering what their strategic narrative will be, right?
Right.
So I do come across many brands who are like, who just have this thing that, oh, I want everybody to buy a brand,
Hmm.
or I want, I want myself to go viral, or I want a lot of leads, or I want a lot of immediate results, immediate outcomes. And the idea always is to, to pause that and to pull them back. And some clients, honestly, most clients agree, but some don't agree also, because
Hmm.
they really want to go for it. But the whole secret of going for it is to, to some distance go slow and then pick up pace,
Hmm.
right? Because your basics have to be very, very thorough. And this is, branding is the very basic of your marketing. Till the time your branding is sorted, till the time your branding pillars are in place, you
Hmm.
cannot build your marketing foundation on it. I think that's a flat truth that every MSME and SME should understand.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I completely agree with you because I, being working with women entrepreneurs and most of them like SMEs, there are people who
Yes.
are not aware of their market dominating positioning. When I ask them, like, what do you do different from your competition?
Yes.
They say, our products are the same. We are facing a lot of competition. We are facing a lot of, competition because of the pricing. So then they have to lower down their prices. Then they are selling for the amount that they really don't want to do that. So it is basically a vicious cycle. Once you enter that my product is good for all, everybody can use my product, everybody can buy my product. It is a never ending loop you have entered into. And your brand, your business is not going to scale this way because you have to position yourself as somebody different. But somehow I feel that many of them do not have idea how are they different. So I sit with
Mhm.
them, I talk to them, I give them a lot of examples, then I We basically do a lot of brainstorming together. Then only we come up with something, and then we sit with the copywriter and then we explain the things. So whatever you are saying, I can resonate completely with it, completely. So, you said there are many people who don't know what is their USP, what is their market dominating positioning. So when somebody is not aware of that and you tell them that this is something you really need to tell us, so what do you suggest to them actually? How can somebody find their USP? Like any tips or tricks that you have?
Yes, even before I answer that, a comment on the point that you were making.
Hmm.
So many clients, of course, say that, oh, our product is no different.
Hmm.
It's the same, right?
Right.
And the whole cycle that you said. I also want to add to it that even when your product is different,
Hmm.
it is not enough to make it your proposition. Because what happens is today my product is different. Another person can come in, say, a large company has taken your idea and they want to now, obviously they'll pump in a ton of more money, take your idea and make it bigger. Then
Hmm.
what happens to your unique product as well,
Hmm.
right? So to not only is it a challenge if your product is the same and there is no differentiation, it continues to be a challenge when your product is different and you think that you have a great product on your hand, because the secret to USP is not building a unique product. The
Hmm.
secret to USP is to adding the right associations, adding the right emotions to your product, right?
Right.
And that is a concept that is not very easily understood or accepted by people, because a lot of times we see products for what they are, right? We don't
Right.
really understand that product can also be emotion.
Hmm.
But that's the whole exercise that we then take them through, right? So when I'm wearing my Nike shoe,
Hmm.
right? I'm not wearing it because it's an X kind of shoe, or it's a very fancy shoe, or it has a
Hmm.
certain color. It is because it is inspiring that emotion in me that, okay, I'm gonna just run. And
Hmm.
so when it says something like roads are free, just go ahead and run. The whole idea is that it's igniting that emotion of that never give up spirit in me, that wherever I'm going to find a free place, I'm going to run, because that is my passion to my health, my
Hmm.
commitment to my health, and my passion for my health rather. So that's the emotion that a brand stirs. Until the time any brand owner, whether a big brand owner or a small brand owner, does not realize that it's the whole game is about emotions,
Hmm.
that's the shift that we bring in, and that's the shift that is important to bring in. And that emotion also will not come like, just and thinking, okay, what's the emotion? There's a lot of science behind it, there's a lot of
Hmm.
study behind it, there's a lot of research that goes behind it, and that's the process that either we assist with, or the process that they should go through. Okay, there are different pillars. There are customer understanding, there is competitive understanding, there is your own touch point understanding. What are the various places that I can seed these emotions? And there's a whole lot of science to it, and that is then though that is how your USP really comes through. Rather, I would say ESP comes through. If
Yeah.
we call it emotional selling proposition.
So, this is a powerful thought. When I say emotions, it is something that many people neglect. I have seen so many ads, so many copywritings where people talk about their product. You go to the website, they
Yes.
are talking about the product. We have this
Yes.
product, this has this benefits, these are the advantages, you should buy this, you should buy that. So it is all about their own product and nothing about the
Yes.
customer. So how do you make it something which is for the customer? So I, as a customer, if I go to the company's website, then I should feel this whole website is all about me. They know what do I want, they know what pain I'm going through, they know how can they
Yes.
solve my problem. Then only I
Yes.
feel the urge to go through the website. And as we talked about attention span, so many people ignore this fact that the attention span is decreasing, and you hardly have 5 to 6 seconds to capture the attention of somebody who's coming to your website. So how do you ensure
Yes.
these things? And what tips would you like to give to other copywriters, who are doing it? They feel they have made a great content, but it does not touch the audience the way it has to do it.
So how we do it is, as I said, it's a studied process, right? There is a
Right.
step-by-step thing about understanding what the customer is thinking. But the key thing that I would like to point out for whether a business owner, whether a copywriter, is to practice a whole lot of empathy. Right?
Hmm.
That whole, like, many times I tell my team that you are not writers, you're actors. Right? Just like an actor, no matter how they are, no matter how their nature is, depending on the kind of film they are acting in, depending on the kind of scene they are, participating in or acting in, they have the capability to become that person, right? And to also understand the opposite person that they are acting with, or whether it's a monologue, they have the capability to completely fit into the shoes of another person, and hence deliver a fine performance. So same way, if a writer, for that matter, has the capability to wear the shoes of the customer and truly pain to the, feel the pain of the customer to the point of understanding the nuances of the clients, of the customer's struggle, to the point of it becoming even a physical pain. So, that method, if that can be followed, in the sense of, completely feeling that without this product, what am I missing in my life? Right? What is the convenience I'm missing in my life? So that deep diving into the customer's mindset and completely, empathizing completely for that point of time, that acting is necessary for any writer to be able to give out a good output, very much like an actor, right? You cannot just come and say 4 lines on the screen and go off. That's a different thing altogether. But I'm talking of a fine, nuanced performance where, you're really making your audience feel something, right? And only when I'm able to add those elements, into my writings, then only my audience is going to feel something, right? That is to the writers. Now for the owners also, this is equally important, especially when they are charting out their marketing strategy, their branding strategy. You cannot be obsessed with your product. Many brand owners, with due respect for their brands, many times they cannot see beyond their brand. Or humne to aisa product banaya, this is just going to blow the market. It may not. The customer may not identify at all, because you are not even getting out of your room and seeing what the world outside is, what the real requirement is. Sure, your product may have a place, but you have to make that place. And that can only happen with that whole sensitivity, that whole empathy that is needed for you to feel the market. So that sense is very, very important. It's not all about aggression. It's not all about just going and pumping a whole lot of money and getting a whole lot of leads. It's a very sensitive art as well. And I think that is so important to keep alive in this world of a rat race, where today we are just, pumping money and, just trying to get immediate outcomes, and then just blowing up things and not knowing where to go, going very helter-skelter. The whole idea is to approach it in a very sensitive, in a very empathetic manner, and that gives a lot more results. That's the secret, actually, as I've been saying, to the best of brands making a way to their market. When I see, I'll go back to the Nike ad. Why are they able to touch me? Because they have actually been able to feel, like, for example, all of us want to be healthier, right? And all of us every day, push ourselves to get healthier. But there are days I don't want to do it, and it's truly a struggle. And for a lot of people, it is still a struggle to show up on the mat, or show up and go down to the roads and run. Nike feels that pain to the extent of feeling that physical pain of the customer. Only then it is able to come up with those lines, and then, create it with so much simplicity that it really resonates with so many people.
Right. And recently I was talking to one of the business owners. So she has recently hired one digital marketing agency. Now, what I have observed, not only with her, like with many other business owners, they are not aware of what should they look for in a digital marketing agency. What are the things they should look for in a copywriter? Because what they do is, like, most of them hire them just because of a recommendation. This digital marketing agency was able to get me this much leads, and they don't have awareness of these basic things, like what are the ideal things there has to be on their website. And many digital marketers are even not aware of it. They're simply building basic websites, hiring any content writer who's writing the websites. I mean, sometimes I feel so pain for the business owners who are investing so much time. They're investing their trust. So don't you think there should be somebody who can guide them well? Like, still people don't understand this. Like, what are the things they have to keep in mind once they hire a copywriter? So what would you like to tell to those business owners? Like, what should they look for actually?
Yes, definitely. So I am a part of many programs where, either I take mentorship sessions, or I take workshops for several communities. And the reason I do this, and I always say this in those workshops also, is to empower and equip these organizations, not to write. Obviously, it's not their specialty, but to know what is happening to them,
Yeah.
so that they can then take informed decisions. Right. So the whole idea is to educate yourself. Right. Now, whether it means that you join a community where people are actively educating each other, it could be joining an incubator or an accelerator, which is very invested in teaching you something, or it could be taking up courses. So I would really suggest that instead of just rushing into something, because you would also like to evaluate, right? Like
Right.
anybody would come up and say that they are their best, they are the best option that they should go for. But the whole idea is that, like any important thing in life, where you should not make a decision before knowing all sides of it. So same way, it is so important to educate yourself. There are various ways to do it, right? But it's very important to consistently take out that time to first of all, ensure that you are not heading into something without having enough knowledge about it.
Right.
Right. So I'll give you my example also in a completely different context. For a long time, when I started my business, I was very my basic nature and my basic tendency is to be a very carefree, creative kind of person. Right. I did not know the finance ropes, I did not know the legal ropes, and I just started the business thinking, oh, it's going to be a nice creative adventure. But few years later, I realized it's not going to be enough. If I'm going to build this up in a better way and not just keep it something very light and very easy going on a daily basis, if I'm passionate about it, I have to build myself. Right. I have to bring about that education. And that's the time I joined a lot of these educational courses and really upskilled myself to understand what's happening. Right. Of course, today I have my accounting team. Of course, today I have my legal partners, accounting partners. But today I'm not blind to what they're offering me.
Right.
I know what they're offering me. I have the ability to choose between two things when they offer me two options. So it's so important. Like, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of educating yourself and linking yourself up to speed, and not let anybody fleece you. Right. You are your brand owner. Nobody can tell you what you need till you know what you need. Right. So that
Absolutely.
self-reflection, I say, is very, very important.
Absolutely. And you know what I have seen is, like, either, trying and testing every time in business doesn't work. You're wasting your resources. You're wasting your
Yeah. It's a
important
sin.
time. Yes.
Yes, it's
You
almost a
cannot
sin
simply
to
try
try.
and test. So what I would suggest is, like, either educate yourself, take up some courses or something, or take some professional help if you are failing in some
Yes.
way. Because trying and testing and then things not working up, it really demotivates you. So last week I was talking to one of the women entrepreneurs. She told me that this is the third digital marketing agency I've hired. So first one didn't
Seriously. Yes.
come up to my expectation. Second one didn't come up to my expectation. Now this is the third one. So this way it is not going to work. If you have
Yeah.
somebody who can act as a mentor, it's very good. If not, go and seek some professional help. Don't keep on trying and testing. You are wasting your precious time. You are wasting your precious resources. Like, trying 3 digital marketing agencies means 9 months at least, if
Exactly.
not more than that.
Exactly.
So you've wasted your precious 9 months just for trying and testing. And in
Yeah.
9 months, your business could have almost doubled if it would have
Indeed.
been done in a proper way.
Yes. 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 So the whole rush has to be curtailed.
Right.
The whole thinking pattern, the whole mindset has to change, that the approach is not to immediately start with something. It's to first self-respect, then self-educate, and then go for whatever kind of, with a professional help, of course. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's the cycle.
Okay, Gunjan, so tell us one more thing. Like, there are so many AI tools that are coming up. So what kind of challenges have you felt? Because, there have been cases like people sharing on social media, copywriting is going to die. There are so many tools who can write the content, things like that. We have designing apps, everything. So do you face any challenges, especially, I would say, in the terms of pricing? Like, people come to you, don't have to do anything. No, there are tools, you can simply find the content, anything of that sort.
Yes. So I'll tell you quickly, very in brief, first our journey with AI, and then our learnings, and then I'll answer the last part of what happens when
Sure.
clients come. It's very funny, honestly. So we got cognizant of AI a few years back, much before ChatGPT and all actually came into the scene, right?
Hmm.
Because mainly because of Canva. right? Because our design partner started seeing that, oh, this is already here and there are challenges, and soon there'll be something for copy as well and stuff like that. And we started exploring what AI, had to do. Uh, in our understanding, we also subscribe to an AI tool which continues to improve, right? But what we realized is that AI is good, but it is only as good as a machine. It
Right.
depends on who is handling that machine, right? If you are able to understand how to use the machine, it is able to deliver well. If you do not know the same, it's going to deliver the same that it's delivering to every other person out there who doesn't know how to operate the machine, right? And hence, so for example, and now of course it's become quite a common understanding, but we used it to refine and define the way we prompt the machine, right? We almost, and the reason I took it on board in this particular plan also, because it worked like an intern for us. Okay, this is a one good intern who's just going to listen to us and going to give the things, but it's going to give us something which we can then hone, fine tune, craft, and then give the final presentation to the client, right? But surely it cuts, the whole curve gets short in the whole research curve and the whole formation curve. And it's important to then understand it and play with it with that understanding, and not with the it. So first of all, I never think it will replace, because first of all, the whole human touch of a relationship, right? So our relationship with our clients is not just transactional. It's not like they are mailing us something and we are just mailing them something back. There is an interaction, there is an in-depth understanding, there is a trust that is built over a period of time. How will AI generate that trust? It cannot, right? So that is one thing. And even to those clients who come saying that Arey, AI mein bana do, they have seen and they have come back to us saying it hasn't worked. You please write it again. You can use the points that have been created by AI. Yes, definitely it cuts the research work short, but give it that flair again that we seek, which is unique to our brand style. So, it's a great, as I said, it really cuts our time and effort, but it's not the end of the work, right? It's a good one. It's a good thing to have during your work to help you, to speed you up and to accelerate the outcome, but it's not the outcome itself. So, yeah, so it's not here to take any job away. It's here to assist your job, and it's important to know how to tackle the machine. Once you know that, it becomes a friend and not a enemy.
Right. And in short, what I would like to say is human touch has to be there. Until unless human touch
Yes.
is there in anything, like it cannot work like what human want from you. Yes, it is there to assist you. Your research time has, shortened. There are so many things that AI can do. But still the things that a human has to do, only a human has to do.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much. And
So,
that's the best part of my work as well.
yes, absolutely. So, Gunjan, this has brought us to the end of today's show. What message would you like to give to our audience, especially to the women entrepreneurs who are listening to us today? How do you see yourself as a women entrepreneur, and what can they do to build their brands so that they also have some position in eyes of others, because branding in today's time is extremely important for any to every kind of business.
Yes, definitely. The first part is about, the advice as a woman entrepreneur to other women entrepreneurs is to, and I know that it is there in every woman, the ability to never give up. Right? Because as women, it's very natural that we face more challenges, at every step, whether it is an external challenge and mind you, even internal challenge. As women, there are so many times we think that ye ho payega kya? Can I do this? Will I be able to do this? It's a very real thing. And I've realized that it reduces with time and with confidence, but there are many, many times when women doubt themselves and wonder if they'll be able to do something. But the same women will also give themselves larger challenges, and that's the beauty of really being a woman. So my only and only solution, advice rather, I would say, is that always keep showing up. No matter how big the challenge is, no matter whether you want to give up at any point in time, still show up. Even if you're feeling scared, still show up. Even if you're not feeling up to the mark, still show up. When you're feeling fabulous, also still show up. So showing up and being consistent is really the route to achieving whatever dream we may have, whatever kind of goal we may have, right? Whether at work or otherwise. So that's one. And secondly, to the brand builders of today and tomorrow, as we spoke about as well, really pause and think. Do not race, right? Do not get lured by the short term very high looking rewards, because the reward really is in the long term, no matter how. So there is this quote that I read recently, which I'm now using. I'm always reminding myself of every in every phase of my life, is that the fastest way to reach somewhere is the slowest.
Yes.
Right, so it's so true. Even in your brand or any other thing, really just take the slow route. Pause, think, self-reflect, self-educate, and then go forward with whatever you wish to go. And it's sure that you'll get it, because it'll be so much of a studied and the right steps, the known steps, the informed decisions that you'll be making. So yeah, all the best to them,
Absolutely.
all the best to the
Absolutely.
viewers.
And Gunjan, this is a powerful thought that the fastest way to get your success is moving slowly and carefully. Thank you so much, Gunjan, for being on the show. It was our pleasure, and I'm very, very sure our audience would have learned a lot from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ishleen. It was such a pleasure and such a privilege. I'll be extremely happy if even one or two audience members can take back something from there. I think that will be time well spent. So thank you for giving me the opportunity for doing that.
My pleasure.